Now to Kenya, where at least 8 people have been killed in nationwide protests against police brutality and government corruption. Hundreds more were injured. Demonstrators were marking the first anniversary of violent clashes during anti-tax protests. At least 60 people were killed, many of them shot dead by security forces outside Parliament back then. DW's Sella Oneko filed this report from Nairobi.
The protests started with excitement and defiance. People filled Nairobi city centre a year after the day similar protests turned deadly. Again calling for justice and an end to police violence. Parents of those killed last year and rights advocates joined the march, but they were met with tear gas. The protests soon turned into running battles with police. Many, however, stood their ground, saying they had a right to be there.
I came out here today because first, I'm a Kenyan, and being here on the streets is exercising my rights and to stand against this regime that is tyrannical.
We have seen that issue of police killings. We have spoken about it. We have protested. We have tried to seek a solution and add to it, but it's still continuing. When we come out to protest about police killing, then another person or other people are killed by police.
For over a year, Kenyan youths have been frustrated with the government due to corruption, the rising cost of living, and police brutality. The recent death of a blogger in police custody have made many angry. By late afternoon, first reports of fatalities came in, and we saw multiple people who had been injured.
We're here at a medical camp that's been set up in the middle of town, and since we've been here, we've seen several ambulances and also people on motorbikes being ferried to the tents to be attended by the medics. The medics themselves say that they have come under tear gas and water cannons that have been fired into this area.
This is a very sad situation because this is a place where people are coming for refuge. They should leave this place alone, and I would want to request that the government should just choose to listen to its people.
The medical personnel here say they treated up to 400 people over the day and transferred at least 60 to the nearby hospitals.
We've seen gunshot wounds, at least 4 of them. The ones who came here, we hear there are others that have been picked on the roads. People have been on their feet since morning, who are working in very extremely stressful situations.
As the streets slowly cleared, anger lingers. Now the country is holding its breath for what comes next.
And before we go to DW's Edith Kimani in Nairobi, here's a clip from the reporting she did yesterday from the chaotic scenes in the Kenyan capital, despite herself being hit by tear gas.
It burns. The situation has taken a dramatic turn. What was until moments ago a peaceful celebration, a memorial of those who lost their lives last year, has turned violent after police lobbed tear gas, which is actually still very much in the air.
And DW's correspondent, Edith Kimani, joins us now from our Nairobi studio. Edith, dramatic scenes there in your reporting and what we saw just before that, too. What's the situation in the capital now?
Well, the situation this morning has gone back to normal. One might say things are fairly calm, relatively easygoing. People have resumed back to their offices and life seems to be moving quite as normal. But of course, as reports of just how many people were killed and how many people were injured come to light, I'm sure that there will be more reactions.
We have reports of at least 16 people dying now in yesterday's demonstrations. The head of the rights group Amnesty Kenya has alleged that most of them were killed by police. What more can you tell us, Edith?
That's right. Amnesty Kenya is saying that 8 other people were also shot and are nursing gunshot wounds. They're also saying that at least 400 people were injured. And this just tells you the brutal nature of that protest yesterday. It also means that more families will unfortunately have to bury their loved ones, now wrapped in Kenyan flags, which has become the characteristic marker of those who were killed in protests. It also means that the Kenyan courts now have more people to deal with who are demanding justice over and above the 60 who were reportedly killed last year in similar protests.
Now, we saw you out there reporting on the streets for DW yesterday in the protests. What was your experience there, Edith, of the demonstrations and the police response?
The police response started off fairly calm in the morning. There was a celebratory mood. People were dancing and recalling the names of those who had been killed in last year's protests. But very quickly, things took a turn, and I actually witnessed Rex Masai, who is the mother of one of the first people who was killed last year, being tear-gassed herself. Now, we were in tactical gear because this is how we cover protests here in Nairobi. But the people who we were covering, they didn't have any protective gear, and they were still pushing back police officers, remaining defiant and brave through it all. And so very dramatic scenes, as you said there earlier, and indeed coming so close to violence and death in some cases.
Remind us, Edith, what's driving this unrest? We've got grievances against President William Ruto and his government. What are the protesters really demanding now?
The primary thing which is top of mind is the deaths of those people who died during last year's protests. The protests last year were primarily about the state of the economy. 60 people reportedly killed, then no justice since. Only 2 cases have made it through the court process. And so a lot of Kenyans were back in the streets demanding justice for those lives. And in the lead up to this, another person died in police custody. And so there was yet more fury about the way the police handle civilians. And this is another thing that protesters are demanding.
Edith, thank you very much. Our correspondent, Edith Kimani in Nairobi.